Hawke'S Tawk Squawk. As we prepare to transition out of Aries season, I want to give a shout out to all the Aries that I rock with and that rock with me. I was just talking to one of my Aries sisters, and you know, Libra scale, me as a Libra scale, for the most part, I vibe with Aries. I don't really have a problem with any Zodiac sign, because at the end of the day, I mean, a Zodiac sign does play a significant part, but it's not like the tell-all, because you got cool people with every Zodiac, and you got negative people that you don't rock with in every Zodiac. So anyway, I was chopping it up with my Aries sister, and it got me to thinking of all the Aries I used to mess with back in the day, specifically during my J-Dub heydays. So that, you know what I mean, that got me to thinking, and it was stray Aries like during the J-Dub days that I really rocked with. The first one was Maya Mobley. Now, and I met Maya at Turnersville. At this point, we have been going to Turnersville for about 3 years now. But we had they kind of switched the circuits around. So it was like a lot of new people in a circuit. So I met Maya at this, it was the 2-day circuit assembly in November. I remember the exact dates. It was November 17th and the 18th, because I remember that Saturday, the 17th, it was my nephew's birthday. And also, after that, I drove an hour and change from Turnersville, New Jersey to East Rutherford, where my Sixers was playing the New Jersey Nets later that evening. But anyway, me and Sheaf, we both kind of spotted Maya at the same time. We was both like, dang, who's that? You know what I mean? So we both kind of approached her and her sister. You know what I mean? Her sister Renee. So we approached them, started talking. And it wasn't even on all right, I'll talk to her, you talk to her sister. We both was just making conversation with both of them. But the chemistry between Sheaf and Renee was flowing more so, while me and Maya was flowing more so. So, you know, we chopped it up or whatever, and like, hey, what are y'all doing later on tonight? They like going home and just getting ready for tomorrow. And I was like, shoot, I got a ticket hookup at the box office up there. You know what I mean? Y'all want to go to a Sixers game? And they was like, sure, you know what I mean? The arena's only about 20 minutes over the bridge. And I was like, nah. We're not going to South Philly. Sixers are playing in New Jersey tonight. So that's like about an hour and some change from here. And they was like, for real, like they was real excited, because like they weren't big basketball fans, but this was around the time when Allen Iverson was that guy, and you know, everybody was AI fans, whether you was into basketball or not, especially if you was living in Philly. So they was all excited or whatever, and so we all rode to the game that night. You know, I had the big Suburban. It's me, Sheaf, it's Maya, Renee. So we just rode up to the game that night. We didn't even get back home that night to probably like 12:30, because the game was over like about 9:30. You know, East Rutherford, New Jersey is about 90 minutes from Philly. So by the time we dropped them off in Mount Airy, she lived right around the corner from me. By the time I got home, it was like it was probably close to midnight. Because after the game, we had went and got something to eat. But, like, that was a real dope day. This is one of my favorite circuit assembly days. Because Maya was looking good, you know what I mean? Like, slim, thick. The glasses, like the professor type look. Like, real classy. You know what I mean? And her sister looked good, too. But, anyway, we just kind of hit it off from there. Now, meantime, Maya's messing with a couple of dudes. She's messing with this other J-Dub, big dude, Larry. Everybody called him, you know what I mean, Double L. Because his name was Lawrence Lavelle or something. Like, and the Lavelle, they was kind of, the Lavelles were like a popular family, like up in that section of the city. They didn't go to the same congregation, but their congregations met in the same Kingdom Hall. It was like a duplex. It was like, I think 4 to 6 congregations that met there. So she was messing with Larry Lavelle. Everybody called him Double L or LL. You know what I mean? He was like, at the time, he was a young ministerial servant. And you know what I mean? And I knew LL from like all the basketball tournaments and whatnot. It's just different J-Dub gatherings. Like, he was kind of like part of the in crowd too. So that's how I knew Double L. But I found out that Maya told me herself that, yeah, she was talking to him, but Double L was talking to a couple of other sisters. And one of them was a sister I wound up messing with a little later down the line. So I was like, damn, Double L was doing her dirty. He had 2 chicks on the side. And one of them at the time was living down in Florida. And the other one went to one of the other congregations up there where they all went. So, and Maya, then she was messing with a dude that wasn't a witness. Like some dude named Terrell. You know what I mean? And he was like a weirdo type dude, like wanna be R. Kelly looking boy. She was messing with him. And it just seemed that every time I would be over the crib kicking it or whatever, he would always just seem to pop up or be calling, and she would always be like, I'll call you back, or have her sister tell him that she wasn't home or whatever. You know what I mean? I had the feeling boy ain't like me, but I ain't give a fuck, because one time I popped up at the crib. She's sitting on his lap or whatever. And as soon as I walked in, because we were just in the neighborhood, we knew other J-Dubs that kind of lived around their area. So I'm like, all right, while we up here, I'm going to pop in and see Maya. And at the time, she wasn't, you know what I mean, the main rotation player, because she had kind of faded out the rotation for reasons we'll get to in a minute. But I would say, Maya, for about the first year, from November of 2001 through the summer of 2002, like right after I got baptized, she was like she was like franchise player type. Not the franchise player, but franchise player type. You know what I mean? And she kind of eased her way out the rotation. Yeah, we did the nasty or whatever, and that's what led to her having reservations, talking about we need to go to the brothers, and I'm not even baptized yet, and she doesn't want to corrupt me or be a stumbling block, and she wants me to get baptized and doesn't want me to have this kind of stay. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I said, we don't do that running telling the elders shit. That's like being in the streets and you run into the cops snitching. Like, we don't do that. That's forbidden. You don't go tell the elders on me for shit. Like, I don't care what we done. If you want to tell the elders about your wrongdoings, fine, but keep my name out of it. So at this time, her and the boy Terrell, whatever the fuck his name is, I guess they was really clicking. She wasn't fucking with Double L no more at this point. So she kind of was like, I'm just going to fall back and work on myself spiritually. Chick, I know you still running around with the worldly ball. It's all cool. I'll just take you out of the starting lineup and you can come off the bench. Simple as that. So that's for like the next year or so that she was on the roster. That was the position she played. Like, we would hook up here and there. You know what I mean? Of course, we'd get in there and smoke a little tree. Because she was real cool to hang out with. You know what I mean? We'd go out to the Platte, smoke, go get water ice. You know what I mean? In the summertime, go to baseball games. Took her to a couple Sixer games or whatever. You already know that was on the agenda. We'd go bowling, go to the movies. Like, she was real cool to kick it with. Now, where shit hit the fan with Maya was when Naraj and her friend Chelsea was kind of talking to each other, and Naraj stood her up or something. Like, they were supposed to meet down at the gallery or something. Naraj showed up, so technically he didn't stand her up. But he went down there and hooked up with another sister that he had met and kind of pushed Chelsea to the side. So, of course, Chelsea is in her feelings. So she goes to Maya and start talking about, oh, because everybody called us those West Philly boys or them boys from West. But she was like, oh, they think they players, this, that, and the third. And Maya was already in her feelings because I was messing with the sister in Florida at that time, and her and Maya didn't like each other. And it was all over Double L. So, you know what I mean? Maya was already kind of out of the rotation, but at this point, she just started acting funny. So now this the Circuit Assembly again. It's early 2004. I've known Maya probably two years and some change at this point. You know what I mean? We did mad shit together, whatever, but at this point, like, she was damn near off the roster. She was on the inactive list at this point. I mean, she was just a practice player, showing up to practice and didn't even suit up for the game. She was on the bench in street clothes. But she started acting real funky at the Circuit Assembly. I went to talk to her because I figured we still cool. I'm like, what's up, Maya? And she was like, oh, don't give me that. You think you this and that. And ever since you got baptized, you been thinking you this, that. And I'm like, she's getting loud. And I'm like, yo, sis, take it easy. So she starts like snapping, getting in my face. So I kind of took the assembly program out of hand and just like threw it in her face, like, get out of here, because she was getting loud, making a scene. So she walks off, comes back with her mom and sister. They call themselves trying to corner me. Her mom's getting all loud, like, you played my daughter for a fool, like, she's a good sister. You're not going to treat her like trash, this and that. I was like, whoa, sis, slow down. You know what I mean? I thought we was all cool because her mom, fuck, what's her mom's name? I forgot. Jessica, yeah, her mom was mad cool. Every time I went over there, it was all love. So I don't know what all this was about. So, you know what I mean? I tell them all off. I walk off. Next thing you know, I'm in the back with Kenji and his stink breath sidekick. I'm basically telling them she wanted a serious relationship. I wasn't ready for that. Blah, blah, blah. Thankfully for Maya, she didn't run her mouth stating anything that we did that was none of their business. And that was that. I mean, ever since then, I've seen her a couple of times since then, and it was all like, hey, how you doing? Matter of fact, the last time I seen her was maybe 6 months after I left the J-Dubs for good. Me and Queenie was out eating. We was at this spot down 36 and Sampson, Mad Max. We was down there, and this was like for the playoffs. Sixers weren't playing that night, but there was other games on, and she was down there with some other sisters from the congregation. We had a little small talk, introduced her to Queenie, and she was like, yeah, she was still doing the J-Dub. She was pioneering and all that, and I wished her well, and that was that. Moving on. The next Aries. Oh, man. Sharonda from Mount Airy. But she was going to Pittsburgh. She was going to college in Pittsburgh. I'm going to do a whole video on our Pittsburgh J-Dub connection, because it was through her going to school up there that I met a few J-Dubs up there, which basically led to Chief, Nad Raj, Lucius, all of them meeting their future wives. So anyway, I met Sharonda in the fall of 2002. It was probably around November. And we met her through a mutual friend, Kiana. Kiana was kind of popular in the J-Dub circle too. So she had a bowling party at Adams Avenue up the boulevard, Adams Lane. Matter of fact, it was either Adams or it was Thunderbird bowling alley, but either way, they're both up in the northeast section of Philly. So I met Sharonda. I was like, I ain't never seen her before. So, you know what I mean? She was tall, dark skinned, thick, you know what I mean? Real cool. So we chop it up. She was home for winter break. No, Thanksgiving break. And then she said she would be home again in the next few weeks for winter break. So we chopped it up. We became real cool. She earned the starting role on the squad. You know, I would take trips up there, go see her on campus. And she was like a popular student, like a real smart student, knew a lot of the students on campus. So we would go up there, go to parties, like go to the college games, mainly the men's and women's Pittsburgh teams. Whenever she would come home for like winter break, spring break, and summer break, we would hang out, go bowling, you know what I mean, movies, hang out, whatever. And yeah, we definitely did the do a couple of times. And you know what I mean, she was cool. Her little sister Aaliyah kind of got around between the squad, though. I ain't even gonna hold you. You know what I mean? Nad was talking to her for a little minute. Lucius was kind of talking to her. Not as much as Dad Raj, but he was kind of talking to her for a little minute. Little cousin Scrappy D, they got the same birth. Matter of fact, they're exactly the same age, born on the same day. They was chopping it up for a little bit. You know what I mean? Even Sean was talking to her for a little bit. So Lil Aaliyah kind of got around a little bit. I'm not sure who in the squad smashed, but I know me and Sharonda did the do. Now, Sharonda's reign, her stay on the squad lasted about 3 years. Not even a whole 3 years. I would say from November of 2002 through like the fall of 2005. Right before I met her freshman year, and we was cool all the way up till like the beginning of her senior year. And that's when she kind of switched up. And it was all because her friend had a big crush on me. Now me and her friend didn't really have no chemistry. There was no attraction or nothing like that. But she was always talking about me, and it was apparent that she ran to Sharonda, telling her that I was talking to other sisters. Now, they all knew, all the sisters I dealt with knew that we weren't on no exclusive shit. They all knew that. And I always made that clear from the beginning. But for some reason, they would act like something was, you know what I mean, shit was different, and I was going to switch up and be like, oh, no, I'm only with you or whatever. And no, that's not how it is. But realistically, what it was is like Sharonda ran her run. Like her time, it kind of came up. It was like she had kind of got boring at this point. At this point, I was kind of like into the older sisters. Like, I was about 22. So this was like the phase where I really started talking to older sisters. You know what I mean? Sharonda and Maya was about 6 months older than me, and Sharonda was 6 months younger than me. So we're all in the same age bracket. But at this point, I was getting into the old heads. This was really when my old head phase started, which led to the marrying that crazy J-Dub broad. But really, Sharonda ran her run. She kind of started acting funny because I wouldn't commit to her. So she was like, if we're not going to be in a relationship, I'm not doing this no more, whatever. And I was like, fine. And we just went our separate ways. And that was that. No hard feelings. Never seen or heard from her again. Last I heard, though, a few years back, through a mutual friend, was that she was married and living out of state somewhere. But now, on to the third Aries. And speaking of the old head phase, Joy Thompson, married to Roger Thompson. And Roger was a cold clown. And I say that because he treated Joy like shit. You know, and he treated, I don't really know how he was to the 3 kids they had together, but he treated Joy like shit. Now, me and Joy met when her and that kid started coming to West Park in the summer of 2004. And they wound up in our book study group. So, you know, I'm not only seeing them at the Theocratic Ministry service meeting and Sunday meeting, but I'm also seeing them at book study, which at this point was on Thursday nights. So, you know, book study was mainly where we chopped it up, and I kind of translated to the Kingdom Hall. Her and my mom and sister, you know what I mean, got along or whatever, so she would come over the house and, you know, we would chop it up or whatever. We started texting and talking on the phone, and I could tell she was feeling some kind of way about Roger, because at first he was always coming to the meetings with him. He never came to book study though, but he would only come to the meetings at the actual Kingdom Hall. He never came to book study. And I sensed something was wrong, and she just started venting about, I know it's wrong to get a divorce, this, that, and the third, but truth be told, long story short, we're only still together because of the kids and my vows to Jehovah, whatever, and I kind of sympathized with her. So I was like, let's hang out. You know what I mean? Get your mind off of stuff. So she left the kids with, I don't know who she left the kids with, but we hung out. Then we started hanging out more than often. Yeah, we did the do, and that's how we referred to it, doing the do. You know what I mean? Got it in a few times. Now, Joy's reign, me and Joy really didn't start connecting till like early 2005. So her run lasted from 2005 through like 2007. You know what I mean? Even after I got married, we still, you know what I mean, met up a few times, whatever. But at this point, they were living out in Delaware. and going to the Kingdom Hall out there. So we wasn't really seeing each other like that. But yeah, Joy was real thorough. But it got to the point where people started noticing how much we were talking and interacting. And a lot of times after the meetings, we would go out to eat. You know, and I would ride to the hall with Clayton. I would leave my car at home. I would ride to the hall with Clayton. Then after the meeting, we'd get in the car with Joy and we would roll out somewhere. Then she might drop the kids off with a relative or with their other kid friends whose parents were watching them or whatever. We would go off and do whatever. Now, people were talking at West Park. So it was this one Sunday when we were leaving. And as we're leaving the hall, my mom called me, was like, come here for a second. It was like, why are you, he was like, you're not going off with that married sister. I'm like, Joy's like my big sister. We're just going out to get something to eat or whatever. And she was like, it's not a good look. People are talking. I'm like, let them talk. It ain't nothing going on. So anyway, I went on about my business. I get in the car with Joy. Her kids are in the back. She drives off. Next thing I know, we're riding down Hereford Avenue. I just so happened to look through the side mirror and I see my mom's car in the rear view. And she's beeping a horn. She pulls up close and starts flashing the high beams because it wasn't dark, but it was cloudy that day. And it was like during the winter months, so it would be getting dark within the next couple hours. And it was already cloudy. Yo, man, that was so embarrassing. So Joy pulls over. My mom gets out the car and starts going on about people were talking and she doesn't want us in the back room with the brothers. This is inappropriate, whatever. So long story short, I get out the car. I have to ride home with my mom and sister. Hear my mom lecturing about dumb shit the whole way because the elders got her shook. Because I knew it had to be Stingy or Stink Breath Hollow Man that said something to her for her to be acting like that. But I was mad the whole ride home. As soon as I got home, I went and changed my clothes, got in my car, went out to the plat, smoked a blunt, and went through my phone like, all right, who am I going to call? But Joy, her run, like I said, lasted a couple years. We just kind of, like, realistically lost touch. And by the time I left the J-Dubs anyway, I was leaving all of them behind anyway. But what's so funny that not too long ago, I ran into one of Joy's old employees because, like I said, we was real tight. And Joy had a job for the city. I forgot what department, but sometimes she would invite me to functions or whatever. We like literally hung out. She was my old head. If I was 22, 23 around that stretch, she was about 40, 41. So yeah, she was an old head. You know what I mean? But we had fun. And Jill was a bad old head too. Light skin, green eyes, dark brown hair. You know what I mean? Thick, kind of tall. You could just tell she was hurting, and dude Roger wasn't giving her no attention. I don't know what's going on with him now, but the last time me and Joy met, we met up downtown at fuck is that place called down Center City? It's not back when it was the gallery. But anyway, we met downtown, you know what I mean, had lunch. And this was like towards the end of 2007. I was living back at the crib, going back to West Park at that time. This was me and My J-Dub wife was separated, not to get back together. But that was the last time I talked to Joy. And that was the story of the 3 Aries. So be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, stay tuned for more content, and I'll be chatting with y'all. Hawk out.